Welcome, my friends, to a deep exploration of Zechariah 13, verse 1-6, a passage that has intrigued scholars and theologians for centuries. Today, we'll delve into its context and consider its significance, including its potential relevance to Christian theology. In Zechariah chapter 13, verse 1-6, we find a prophetic passage that addresses the purification of the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. It speaks of cleansing, the removal of idols, and the consequences of false prophecy. Verse 1, "On that day a spring shall be opened for the house of David and for the inhabitants of Jerusalem, for purification and for sprinkling." Here we encounter the symbolism of a spring, representing purification for the people of Jerusalem. This imagery signifies a spiritual cleansing, a renewal, which is a common theme in religious texts. Verse 2, "And it shall come to pass on that day, says the Lord of hosts, I will cut off the names of the idols from the earth, and they shall no longer be mentioned. And also the prophets and the spirit of contamination I will remove from the earth." This verse speaks of the removal of idol worship and false prophets. It emphasizes the eradication of false beliefs and practices, a theme that aligns with the rejection of idolatry found in various religious traditions. Verse 3, "And it shall come to pass, if a man still prophesies, that his father and his mother, his parents, shall say to him, You shall not live, for you have spoken falsely in the name of the Lord. And his father and his mother, his parents, shall thrust him through because of his prophesying." In this verse, we witness the severity of false prophecy. The consequences are grave, with even parents rebuking their own child for speaking falsely in the name of the Lord. It underscores the gravity of authentic prophecy and the danger of misleading others. Verse 4, "And it shall come to pass on that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, each one of his vision when he prophesies, and they will not wear a hairy mantle in order to lie." Here the false prophets are described as being ashamed of their visions. They cease to wear distinctive garments associated with prophethood, signifying a departure from deception. Verse 5, "And he shall say, I am not a prophet, I am a tiller of the soil, for a man entrusted me with his cattle from my youth." In this verse, a false prophet disowns their prophetic identity, opting for a simple, humble role as a farmer. It illustrates the desire to distance oneself from a deceptive past. Verse 6, "And one will say to him, What are these wounds between your hands? And he shall say, That I was smitten in the house of my friends." This verse has sparked intriguing interpretations, as it possibly alludes to some form of suffering or punishment related to false prophecies. It's a reminder of the consequences of leading others astray. Now, considering these verses within Christian theology, some scholars have drawn parallels between elements of Zechariah 13 and aspects of the Christian narrative. Particularly, verse 6 has been interpreted by some as having similarities to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. It's important to note that interpretations can vary among different scholars and religious traditions. While Zechariah 13 primarily addresses issues within its historical and cultural context, some Christians have found symbolism and resonance in these verses, especially considering the suffering and sacrifice associated with the crucifixion of Yeshua. In our exploration of Zechariah chapter 13, verse 1-6, we've encountered themes of purification, the rejection of false beliefs, and the consequences of deceptive prophecy. These verses serve as a reminder of the importance of authenticity in matters of faith and spirituality, regardless of the specific interpretation. As we continue to explore ancient texts and their relevance to various faith traditions, may we find common ground in the pursuit of wisdom and understanding. Until next time, take care on your journey of exploration and discovery. Part 1 of 2 has been brought to you by Old Man Gino, the Wise Wanderer.